We are back with episode number 5 of Silver and Blue on a Victory Monday, obviously, right? We them boys, we back. Are we really back? Did we save our season? I think we did. We beat the Chargers. That was a no contest. So we might be back. As
Yeah, yeah,
always,
yeah.
man, we back. We might be back, okay? We saved our season, baby, all right? So here we are again, man, with another episode of Silver and Blue Huddle, man. I'm back with my man, So Amazing New Jersey. What's up, man? How you doing today, bro?
What's up, man?
How
Hey,
you
you know
feeling?
me. I'm very excited. Look, I got
I
my
see.
celebration.
I
I got
see.
my celebration right here. You know what I mean?
That
So
ain't that
I got
don't
my.
look like apple juice.
It is apple juice, adult apple
A
juice.
dog.
Cheers, cheers to Cowboy Nation. This is for you. I
Let's
know. Hey,
go.
listen. I know some of y'all was sitting on the edge of y'all seats. I was sitting on the edge of my couch, almost passed out, but I had to wake back up. And then I see a nice, good field goal between the H, the big H. Like what he said in Coming to America, the big H. So he kicked it right through. Shout out to our special teams. Our kicker was great. Again, man, I can't wait to break this game down with you, man. This was it was an up and down game, man.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I have a little confession. I was a little scared. Okay, Dak Prescott dropping back 5 wide. Your boy was scared. I'm like, oh my God, what is about to happen? Is a pick about to happen or what? I mean, that's my little confession. I mean, I don't know about you, bro, but and some of those 5 wide sets that Prescott was out there running, I was like, why? Why? I'm like, oh my God, please don't let nothing bad happen. And luckily, Dak Prescott got through another game with 0 interceptions. That was a hot topic last season, but this season it's not really that much of a hot topic because Dak Prescott is not the leader in interceptions. Matter of fact, the leader of interceptions in the NFC East, which is our division, is actually Jalen Hurts. So, are y'all ready for that conversation or are you not? I mean, come on. It was a hot topic last season, but now you guys don't want to talk about it. I wonder why. I wonder why.
I wonder why they picked up Julio. Hmm.
Here's my thing about Julio Jones and the Eagles, right? If Tom Brady couldn't make Julio Jones look decent, what the hell you think Jalen Hurts going to do? Nothing. Nothing at all, okay? That's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a bum.
Nah,
He is a
exactly,
bum.
exactly. Nah, but we got to break this game down. We got to enjoy our game. So, what do you got for me, Rich? I got defense ready, and I got my cowbell player coming soon. But I want to see what you got
Right.
first. How did you feel with that first drive?
That first drive started out pretty good, right? What I saw from the Cowboys is kind of what I saw like in week 1. They was coming out in some sort of sense of urgency right from the play call. Mike McCarthy was getting the play in. They was going to the huddle. They was hiking the ball up until there was like a penalty or something that happened in the game. I think it was like the 4th possession where there was a penalty and they kind of slowed things down. And I think we end up being like a 3 and out that first freaking series, which was kind of disappointing. But offensively, I was impressed a little bit. One of the things I definitely want to bring up is Dakota Prescott's mobility. That could be a game changer. I would love to see that happen on a week to week basis where Dak Prescott does not sit in the pocket and take sacks, but yet uses his legs to get out of harm's way and move a little bit and make the defense respect him a little bit with his legs. Mobility is a key to the Dallas Cowboys offense. Like, just imagine if we can add Dak Prescott mobility to the scheme. We're going to be that much more dangerous, right? When you think about Patrick Mahomes, when you think about even the bum Jalen Hurts, okay, like what do they do best when pressure's like raining down on them? They get out of the pocket and they run, right? And running leads to scrambling drills. Running leads to like receivers getting like wide open, or at least it has the defense respect you a little bit to where they got to come down and maybe try to tackle you or whatever. But I love mobility quarterbacks, and hopefully Dak Prescott looks at the game tape and realizes that he needs to use his legs a little bit more to make a little bit more plays for the offense. And then, that's key. I think that was a key. I saw Dakota Vick out there and I loved it.
You said Dakota Vick.
I
No,
saw
I mean,
Dakota
like,
Vick. Okay.
I mean, to piggyback on what you're saying, I mean, yeah, I mean, Dak looked good. I think that first drive, you know what I got, what I saw though, I saw somebody taking a risk. You know what I'm saying? Like, he threw down the seams. The play calling when they did the double drag, it was like a drag route, and then CeeDee Lamb was running a post, and he hit CeeDee Lamb on that post. And shout out to CeeDee Lamb. He basically caught every single ball that came his way. He was really showing why he's him. He liked to wipe noses. You know what I'm saying? So like he always does that. That's his signature. So CeeDee Lamb definitely stepped up for Dak when he did throw there. But yeah, I was very happy to see Dak actually get more aggressive. I think they're starting to watch our podcast a little more, Rich. I think they like to tune in. The reason why, because I feel like everything we've been saying, we've been calling them out. I said we were going to lose to the Niners off of turnovers. I think they're starting to realize it now. Right. So yes, Dak, I'm going to look at right in the camera right now. And please, thank you. Cowboy Nation thanks you. Do not pump and think about it. Do not pump and stutter step. Just pump and run.
Exactly. That led to like a touchdown when he kept it. And I wish he would do that a little bit more often, man, where he would do like the read and just keep it. Like, I don't know why a lot of quarterbacks don't do that, because the defense definitely be faked out. Like, most of the time when the quarterbacks keep the ball, like, they end up having big gains down the field where they're able to, like, get a first down or maybe even score a touchdown or something like that. But I like it. I saw Dakota Vick and I got excited. I'm like, not only did he do it one time, but he did it multiple times during the game. And they came at critical moments in the game. Like, Dak, don't sit there and take a sack. Run, bro. Like, first off, you're black, so you should be running. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. But, hey, please, Dak, Dakota, use your legs, man, please. Like, that was a different wrinkle to the offense, and that could definitely help us in the long run where we're facing, like, the 49ers again, or we're facing, like, a good D-line, because the Chargers had Mack, and they also had Bosa, so bro, like, he was able to escape, and I'm happy that he was able to do that. Hopefully that builds up his confidence so that he can go back to being mobile. Because if you remember in his rookie year when the Cowboys went 13-3, the main reason why they did that was because Dak Prescott was fresh off of Mississippi State, and the type of offense that they ran there was a read option. And he ran the ball a lot. He didn't really pass the ball that much in college. So he was like a read option type quarterback. So when we first came into the league, and with the Cowboys, it had Zeke and it had him, and he was running the ball a lot more until, unfortunately, he got injured, and then, that probably plays a lot into his head or whatever, but hopefully he overcomes that fear, and he looks at the tape and definitely wants to take off a lot more, because that was critical in getting that dub, because some of the plays that happened, the touchdown that happened to Brandon Cooks, that does not happen if you don't escape the pocket. The freaking pass to CeeDee Lamb don't happen if you don't escape the pocket. The critical play with Tony Pollard down the field, which I was kind of disappointed that Tony Pollard got hawked down from behind. I thought the man was fast.
But I thought he was ghost. When he broke that tackle and it was gone, I thought he was out.
Right. I thought that was like an easy touchdown. I mean, Tony Pollard should have had 99 speed, but I was kind of disappointed by that. But that play does not happen if Dak doesn't get out of the pocket. So 4 plays that was critical to the Cowboys win happened because Dak Prescott got mobile all of a sudden. So hopefully Mike McCarthy preaches that during the bye week, and hopefully we can add that to our offensive scheme, and it leads to big plays down the field, because when you look at some of the good teams, all their quarterbacks scramble. Brock Purdy scramble a little bit. Jalen Hurts definitely does it. Patrick Mahomes be out there just running for his life, and he just be making passes down the field. So hopefully, like I said, they just continue to teach Dak that it's okay to run, Dak.
Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes like a different story. Like, he'll throw it across the field, he'll do like a no look throw. I mean, you can't nobody's Patty. But no, like I would say, like, yeah, I call it aggressive mobile Dak. Right now, the reason why I say aggressive mobile Dak is because I'm not saying like get aggressive and throw a pick into double coverage. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about aggressive mobile Dak. Get aggressive. Scramble when you need to scramble, and don't be afraid to throw that tight throw. Like, I feel like yes, we didn't play perfect. No, we did not. Dallas didn't play perfect that game, and neither did the Chargers. You know how many times, and listen, I'm a big Cowboy fan, but you know how many times Herbert missed Keenan Allen on wide open passes? He overthrew Keenan Allen too. So there was a lot of opportunities that the Chargers also had to make a big play or a big score on us. So I will say, it wasn't a dominant performance by the Cowboys. We did what we needed to do. Micah Parsons, who was trying to play a little bit of middle linebacker, I didn't like seeing him there that much. I'll be honest. I mean, when he plays middle linebacker, he almost looks more like a spy or like a short covered zone guy than anything. I like to see Micah Parsons pass rush a little bit more, but I understand because of our circumstances that, you know, we had to put Micah Parsons at middle linebacker once in a while. But if I could just mention my quick Cowbell player of the game, and then we'll break it down a little more.
Cowboy player of the game. Cowbell.
Cowbell player of the game. Those two.
There we go.
Hopefully they heard that one.
Yep.
Marquise Bell.
Let's go.
Now, while I say Marquise Bell, right?
That was a beast.
He's a 250, 200, I think 5 pound, maybe 210 pound safety, whatever. But the thing was, and I'll go to his stats real quick just to make sure. First of all, he's the fourth best person with the highest tackle, most tackles on the team, right? So just in that one game yesterday, right? He had 5 solos and 7 total tackles. He had 1 pass defense and one of those tackles was for like in the backfield in the loss. Now, the reason why that is such a big deal when I say this, Cowboy Nation, is that we're already light at linebacker. So for somebody that can play like that safety hybrid linebacker position and step up and not just be Curse or Wilson have to step up into that position, to have Marquise Bell come up there, and shout out Marquise Bell, he's from Jersey too as well. He came up and he made tackles. He made solos. And what are we playing? We're playing football, right? I get it. They're going to call penalties. And that's another thing. My next question is, what do you feel about those penalties? They're going to call penalties. I get it. But we got to tackle.
Right. Like, as far as the penalties is concerned, like, the only way the Chargers were able to maintain Micah Parsons was the hold. And you saw when they wasn't able to hold what it resulted in, right? A sack that ended the game. So all game long, the Chargers sitting up there holding. That probably was like the most, Monday Night Football game that I seen that had like the most holding calls that I ever seen before in my life. And it's pretty clear that they was out there holding all game long because we weren't able to get to the quarterback. But the one time to where the referee like chewed their whistle, it ended up being a sack in the end of the game. So the penalties, like, that's the only way teams can really contain our defense from getting sacks is the holders. And I think there's a lot of teams that definitely hold on the freaking offensive side of the ball, but it was clear to me what they was out there doing. The referee saw it too. So I think they had like one drive where they had like 3 or 4 holding penalties. Man, that was crazy out there. But you think they was going to stop? Nope. Because when they did, it ended up being a sack. Or Justin Herbert ended up having to run for his life. So it is what it is.
Yep. And you know, I'm looking at stats right now. I mean, we got 8 interceptions on the year so far. I think tackle for losses, Micah Parsons leads that in like with 7. Ziggy Zua with 5 tackle for losses. DeMarcus Lawrence. Like, look, I'm just looking right here. Just tackle for loss, and I understand these are sacks too. Like, just sacks alone. Micah Parsons 5 sacks. Osa 3, DeMarcus Lawrence 2, Dorrance Armstrong 2, J-Ron Curse 1, and I mean it goes on and on. I can just kind of go down the list right here. Like, everybody got at least like some love, but like our defense is still good. I'm not saying, I personally think because of the Vander Esch loss and the Diggs loss, I feel like we had to find ourselves on defense because it was like, okay, we got to start moving guys around. Deron Bland had his, he had his little hiccup against the Cardinals, whatever. He was getting used to being the outside corner or whatever. But I feel like we're coming around a little bit. I'm not saying, I'm going to take the word elite out of it. We are not an elite defense, okay? I'm going to be honest. We're not elite. We're good. I would say we're a good defense now. It's because we had to move guys around to figure out who's going to do what. Marquise Bell wasn't doing what he was doing, a couple weeks ago. He was more of a special teams guy, things like that. So, he got out there, stepped up. He showed that he could tackle. He showed that he could be out there. He's not going to break it. People aren't going to break his tackle. So it wasn't a pretty game, but we did what we had to do to win. And we wanted to end like we had to. And shout out to special teams. Shout out to Aubrey, Abreu. I think it's Aubrey, right? I keep messing his name up because it looks like Abreu. But Aubrey, that guy that came from soccer, he can kick a damn
he can
football,
kick.
bro.
Has he
I
missed
don't think he
all year?
missed.
I don't think he missed all
he
year.
hasn't. I see 0 right here on the stats.
Right.
Like he hasn't missed all year, like field goals and like extra points. Like
Right.
so, shout out to him, man, because we're gonna need him in big time games when we really need to get 3. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, like Eagles lost Sunday, right?
Right.
Niners lost, right?
Loved it.
And so end of the day, like we're trying to play for seeding, right? I live in Jersey, and I know this is a Cowboy podcast, but listen, all I heard yesterday and today was about the Jets, and we beat the Jets. Okay, I get it. Everybody's talking about, well, if we can win this game, we can win that game, and this and that, blah 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 blah. It's the same thing here with Cowboy Nation. If we beat the Chargers, right? Now
Right.
we got to buy. Get some guys rested up. We're gonna go right into the Rams, right? So we just gotta just one game at a time. We got this. We got everybody talking about, oh, you guys are delusional. We're not delusional. We're being realistic, right?
Right.
We still them boys. We're gonna win. We're not gonna have a 3-12 season or 3-14 season. Like we're gonna win games. We're gonna make playoffs.
I love it.
Oh, but what's gonna happen when you guys lose to the Niners again? What happens when the playoffs? I don't care. Right now, we're in October. It's scary October. Let's get through this month.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's backtrack a little bit because I don't think we can like totally let off special teams just yet because they did have one blunder. Jalen Turbert, when he got pushed into Turbin and then he tried to like recover the football and he touched it, that almost was it actually did go back to the Chargers. And I think they did score that touchdown, that possession.
Yeah.
So when I was watching that play, I was like, yo, why are you going to the ball by yourself? I was like, because actually he got pushed.
He got bumped too.
Yeah, he got pushed back down. He got pushed twice by the same dude. He got pushed in the turban and then he got pushed into the ball by the same dude when he tried to jump on the ball on special teams. Like that was a critical thing. And I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my God, here we go again. The Dallas Cowboys about to blow the game off doing something stupid. I'm like, why the Cowboys? Why the Cowboys? Like that almost gave me like a heart attack. I ain't even gonna lie. Your boy was scared.
Yeah. I mean, it was a back and forth game. But the Cowboys, they do what they have to do, man. J-Ron Curse, they try and throw a flag on J-Ron Curse, talking about unnecessary roughness on Herbert. Listen, I don't care, man. I'm tired. I'm getting tired of seeing this. I saw this twice this weekend, okay? I'm a Rutgers football fan too. And we had a guy get ejected out of the game against Michigan State and Rutgers because of a bad call and illegal hit. And then J-Ron Curse getting this flag, which really pissed me off because it's like Herbert was about to run out the pocket. And then last minute he wanted to do an attempted slide. Right. But what do you want the defender to do? And I get there's going to be somebody out there that sees this and says, oh, well, you just got to be careful with the quarterbacks. You got to be careful where you hit. I don't care. We're playing football. Like J-Ron Curse saw him step up into the pocket. He thought, oh, damn, the quarterback is about to run because Herbert runs, right? We're not talking about somebody that's stationary. Herbert likes to run sometimes. So when he started to run, he came to tackle him. And then coincidentally, last minute, he tried to do one of those, oh, I'm just going to fall on the ground. And of course, if I'm about to hit you, Rich, and you go like this and you cringe up, I'm going to hit you in the head.
Right.
It's just going to happen because now you have dropped your level. So like, I don't know. I feel like the NFL has to keep evaluating these hits because some of them, they're just throwing the flag because look, if that's the case, then right. My thing is this: if I'm a running back, if I'm running, that means last minute. If I'm instead of like lowering my shoulder on you, you're telling me if I just do this, if I curl up, and then you smack me in the head,
that's a flag.
Oh, that's a flag. So I guess every running back should do that then.
Because the NFL considers you like ducking down like that as you're giving yourself up. So if you're giving yourself up, then you shouldn't be tackled or you shouldn't be hit or nothing like that because you gave yourself up, which I think is a cop out a little bit. I don't like the rule too much because it's terrible, man. It's terrible. Like you can't like stop your momentum to all of a sudden be like, oh, stop, I'm not gonna hit this dude. Like you're already in full motion, you come in full speed. You can't just hit the brakes like that in order to avoid a freaking tackle, man. So I hate it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, I just don't get on how a quarterback can run the open field and slide last minute, and a defender is at risk for like ejection or a penalty, right?
Right.
But a running back, like a running back's gonna try to run through you or run out of bounds or stiff arm you, right?
Right.
So you're telling me if I'm a running back, you're telling me if I give myself up, I can draw a penalty now?
Yeah.
Like, because that's the way I'm looking at it right now. It's like if the quarterback can drop to the ground and do a last minute slide to give yourself up and get a penalty, it's like basketball. It's like last minute. I'm just gonna get stationary and draw the charge, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I hope that a lot of people comment on this because I really want to know your opinions on, like, if a quarterback's allowed to do it, why can't a receiver or running back give themselves up and draw a penalty?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can. You just you don't see it from the running backs and receivers. I think you may see it from the receivers, but you don't see it from the running backs all that much because, like you said, they try to go through it. But heading into this game, the biggest storyline was Mike McCarthy versus Kellen Moore. How do you think that dynamic played out? Because for me, it kind of seemed like one was really trying to upstage the other, but they just both kept making dumb mistakes. They both kept calling dumb plays. Mike McCarthy had opportunity to go up maybe by another 7 points at the end of the first half, but instead took a field goal. And before that, he went for it on 4th and 1 and didn't get it and started kicking the field goal. So this man took up all the time on the clock just to get another field goal. Like at halftime, I know I was texting you at halftime. I think the score should have been at least 16-7. But because of some bogus play calling that we had, like we either didn't convert on the 4th down or we had to punt the ball. And we just forfeited 2 field goals that I think we should have got, man. Like, a game like this, a must-win game, you're trying to save your season, you got to take the points. No need to go for 4th and 1 in the red zone, man. Take your points. It's a Monday Night Football game. What do you think about Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore? I wasn't a fan. Dynamic?
Yeah, I mean, they both tried. Well, think about it. Both first drives, they both came at each other, right? So they both it was like their best play calls. Was the first drive. They kind of showed a statement to both of them. And I was a little nervous because, of course, former OC, you want to show out for your former team, blah, 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 show you why you should not let me go. But, that 4th and 1, I get it. Everybody's trying to do it now, the tush push because of the Eagles or whatever. But I'll be honest, man, they're the only team that can really do it. I'll be honest. I saw not just the Cowboys. I saw multiple teams on Football Sunday try to do and mimic the same thing the Eagles have been doing, and the majority of them all got stuffed on their 4th and 1s or 4th and goals. I think the Colts tried to do it too this week, and they got stuffed too. Right. And it's all because Eagles are trying to do this trend, and not everybody can do it. So I didn't like that we made that call. I get it. It's aggressive, but I just didn't like it. Because it was a turnover on downs, and we went from having momentum to right. We got no points.
And they're not even lining up correctly or even running the play correctly like the Eagles. I mean, you can look at the difference between when other teams do it and when the Eagles do it. They don't even line up in the proper formation or even line up correctly. And the quarterback don't even run the exact same way that Jalen Hurts doing, man. That's why it's not successful. So if I was another team, what I do is I'll line up in that formation and I just toss the bitch out. It's wide open. What the hell are we doing? You think about
reverse it?
Yeah, I'll run a reverse. I'll run a toss or something, man. Get creative, man. I know the quarterback sneak is probably one of the most hardest freaking offensive plays to stop, but let's stop the foolishness, man.
Well, I think it's because of the trend, right? I think because now people are lining up like that. Right. They know that they got to load up the box, and I think you might be catching on to something, Rich, because if they all load up and hunch forward, and then you say hike, and then you do even if you could just turn to the right, and that person that's behind you, he runs that way,
right?
He could possibly that might be an easy touchdown or easy first down.
Right. And not only that, but normally when the Eagles do it, it's 4th and inches. They've got bold, lately over the last few weeks, going for it on a 4th and 1, a real true 4th and 1. But lately they only be doing it on inches. Now these other teams are out here going it on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, trying to get a little push. I'm that is not what made the Eagles successful when doing a little push tush. they only did it on 4th and inches. Like they didn't do it on a 4th and real 1. You know how hard that is? Like it takes a
100%.
little
Yeah.
bit too long to try to get a whole 4th and 1, but I don't know why people are trying to mimic it, but that's what I would do. I mean, I would toss that bitch. I mean, the toss to me is like wide open. The dude on my left act like you're gonna come in push, and then you just go out, bro. Like it still could be a pass because he's running behind you, and there's nobody guarding him more than likely. So let me see that in the NFL. I'm gonna like copyright.
Why? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen this week.
Like you definitely would listen to the podcast.
Yeah, that's how I know.
Absolutely.
If it happens this week, somebody listening.
Yeah, but I think
I'm excited about next week. We get to actually rest.
Yeah, stretch-free Sunday. Stretch-free Sunday and Monday. Like, we ain't got to worry about the Cowboys losing. We ain't got to worry about the Cowboys doing dumb shit. We ain't got to worry about the coaching doing this. You know, you ain't got to worry about none of that because it's a stretch-free Sunday.
So what do you do on your bye weeks?
On my bye weeks,
as a Cowboy fan, what are you doing? Like, you do the extra errand that you weren't supposed to do?
You know, on the bye week, I probably just take a whole bunch more naps because I'm not really interested into watching any other Florida teams, man. Like, one of the worst parts about living in Florida is that I'm subjected to watching the Buccaneers or the Miami Dolphins play. Like, those are the two games that's always on TV. And if the Cowboys don't play in the afternoon game, then I'm stuck watching some other trash team. So help me out. But during the bye week, I just probably take extra naps. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got to worry about nothing.
So you like to get the extra rest in. You're like, you know what? My team's getting rest. I'm gonna get some rest. That's
or
basically...
I just sit and watch and hope that other teams lose badly so I can make content about it.
Yeah, that's true. He does do that. So like for your other content creators out there, yeah, that's he will make content about your team. I'll tell you that. Yeah. I don't know. Like for me, I will say not only is the rest for me, it's the honey-do list for me. Like, so it's more like the wifey knows the Cowboys aren't playing that week, so she'll just be like, well, I know it's bye week, so can we do this or can we do that? Especially with it being around October, so we got like fall festivals or something to go to, or let's do this or something like that. So, you know, for me, I wish I just hope maybe a torrential downpour on a football Sunday so I can stay inside.
A hurricane come your way.
because that honey-do list will come out on a Cowboys bye week or something like that. Because she'll be like, I know you don't got no games to watch.
Right.
But you know, I'm happy about it as a fan. We get to rest up just like any other team, rest up, and then we got a big game coming up. We got the LA Rams. Right. And you know, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp. I mean, that's a no joke team, man. And I think having rest before that game is ideal. Right. And we're home. And the Cowboys are home. Remember that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So how do you feel?
I totally agree with you that this bye week is definitely much needed for the Cowboys. They can catch up on some injuries, catch up on some rest, catch up on some film. Like, it came at a good time. Because I'm glad that we was able to win this last game because for me, it kind of maybe saved the Cowboys season. Because 4-2 is a lot different than 3-3. So it's a lot easier to continue to build on a 4-2 record than it is to continue to come behind from a 3-3 and be 500. And then if you lose, then you're below. And then if you win, you're like one game above. But with the 49ers and the Eagles losing, like now we're only really one game behind the top division winner in the conference. So, I mean, that helps out a lot too. So, it was a must win. So, do you think this win maybe saved the Cowboys season?
It didn't save it. I think it keeps momentum going. I don't think it saves the season because I feel like we're still early in the season. We're only in October. And I feel like the wins that you're talking about, those needs to happen in December. Right. I call those December wins. When we get into December, I mean, Thanksgiving, hey, we Cowboys fans, we love us some Thanksgiving. So we get we get family food and football. Turkey. I love that. I can't wait for that. Greens. But like I said, yeah, greens.
Yams.
Ham, greens, tomatoes, yams.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, we're still in October, right? So we're in fall. You know, it's scary. I call this the scary month of football, right? And then November comes, you know, and that's another loaded month. But I think, no, to answer your question, it does not make or break our season. I feel like it just gives us more momentum. It goes to show that, yes, okay, we lost to the Niners, but we're still a good team.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
Like it's not like we're not like sitting here like the G-men are and figuring out what the hell. Actually, the G-men, you guys could have beat the Bills, but because you don't have a good team this year, you couldn't finish the job.
Love it. I love it. I love it. That adult apple juice definitely got you on a whole nother level.
Celebration.
I love it. I love it. But I agree with you. I mean, definitely can't take too much stock into winning here in October. And even with the losses, I mean, you can't really take too much stock into the losses either. I mean, yeah, they happen, but I'd rather them happen early than later in the year where it really, really means and hurts us and can come back and like kill our season. But losing to the Niners hurt, obviously. Losing to the Cardinals hurt, obviously. But we got to take this momentum into the bye week and get better, read more film, look at more tape, come out against the Rams, dominate them. I think we got the Eagles after that. And then after the Eagles, we got 2 winnable games. So, I mean, like, imagine if the Cowboys win these next 4 games. Oh, my gosh.
And see, the thing is with me is I know to me, priority wins as a fan, and I know a lot of fans probably think the same way, but to me, division games are number one priority, and then number 2 is conference games. Anytime we can beat an NFC team during the season,
Right.
that helps our draft stock so much.
Right.
Like, yes, we beat the Chargers, their AFC team. That was a good win, and it was like a rebuilding win to build the confidence back up. But I'd rather win a division game or an NFC conference game. Those are my 2 mandatories. Division games and NFC games. I can lose to an AFC team and then give me 3 or back-to-back NFC conference games. I'm happy. Like, it's almost like a wash for me. Like, I'm like, all right, bet, we're good.
Right.
But yeah, we got to beat these NFC teams. Like when it comes to the Rams and the Eagles and like anybody that's in NFC conference, it's all about seeding, baby. It's all about seeding.
You. I think you muted again on stunt, but yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree with you as well with that, man. So much needed bye week. Came at a great time. So I loved it. Take a week off, Dallas Cowboys. Like, read some film. Like, re-energize yourselves. I think we came out of this game injury free. So that's always a good thing. So I think we're doing good. Looking forward to the second half momentum of the season. Like, the Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore thing didn't really pan out all that much. I mean, they both struggled. They both kind of suck. But if, because I hear a lot of Chargers talking about Brandon Stanley, the coach of the Chargers. If they fire him, do they realize the coach of the Chargers is probably going to be Kellen Moore? Like, do they want Kellen Moore? Like, they can't really possibly want Kellen Moore, dude, as a head coach, do they? That is crazy to think about.
Yeah, you know what? And thank God I'm not on that side. Thank God I'm not on that, like that's fan base right now, because man, right. and you know, I saw them interviewing you know, Jerry Jones, our owner, before the game, and they had him and Aikman talking. I don't know if you caught that before the game or the pregame, but it was just funny, man. Like, I love, you know, people always talk shit about Jerry Jones, man. He's a businessman. Look, end of the day, they're like, oh, well, he does this. He likes to have control, blah, blah, blah. Listen, man, he a businessman.
Right.
He just likes to be in front of the camera. Just the guy over that owns Washington, same thing. Like, they, you know, when he sold it, Snyder, when he sold the team,
right.
You know, he had just the same amount of money of Jerry Jones. It's just, right. Jerry liked to be in front of the camera. He liked to talk about his Cowboys. Let that man be. Like, you know.
And talking about Troy Aikman, do you think he really likes the Cowboys now? Like, do you really genuinely think that he wants the Cowboys to be successful? Because listening to the broadcast and the way that he calls Cowboy games, like, you would never thought that he was one of the greatest Cowboy of all time. Like, at least one of them. He ain't the greatest, but
it's like he sounds frustrated. Like, he sounds like, you know what I'm talking about. It's like he's a fan, but he sounds like he's frustrated. Like, it's almost like being like a former Cowboy, and you're just like you want your team to be successful. That's what he sounds like to me. Okay. And I don't know how everybody else is. He sounds like because he sounds like he wants to say his opinion sometimes. You ever notice when he goes no comment, or he'll say something like, yeah, I'm not going to elaborate on that. Like, he'll say something like politically correct, because I feel like he really wants to like say something, but he's not going to want to say it on live TV, whatever. I just think he's a very upset former
Player.
Cowboy that
Okay.
saw championships, and I think he's getting frustrated at like the organization. Like, we need to win one again. Like, I think even he's getting frustrated.
Yeah, I don't think
You know what I'm saying?
he is that fond of Dak Prescott because he was actually saying a few
Yes.
comments last night and he was like, "Yo, I don't understand how Dak Prescott missed that read. Like he was wide open."
Yeah. Well, you know, what you're talking about, the one that he said, he's like, you know, on that read, I don't even know why you throw that. He's like, you look over to the left, you have CeeDee Lamb on Davis, and the guy's playing 10, 12 yards off the ball.
Right.
He's like, I don't understand why you don't give your best player the ball in that critical situation. Right. That's what he said. Yeah. But you know what? That's true, because you got to realize a guy like Aikman back in the day, you know, when it was that third down,
always
he was looking. If you had a bad matchup on Michael Irvin and him, he threw right at it. He fired that thing in there. Right. So, like, you got to realize it's two different types of quarterbacks that are talking. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I get it. Like, Aikman's from a different era than like Dak was. You know, could Aikman play in this era? That's another question, right? If you take Aikman, you put him in this era, can he still sling the rock? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying that's another question, because Troy Aikman comes from an era where people were in I formation, single back, double tight ends, and you were power running the ball. Remember, he had fullbacks. Right. Dak don't have fullbacks. No. You know, they're not out there in single back formation and I formations with Moose Johnson at fullback.
I don't know if Troy actually made a call down to the sideline, because of their next series, what did they do? They threw the CeeDee Lamb on like a curl route because the other defender was playing so far off. So, but then again,
they did.
I don't know why Dak didn't realize that, because they was playing soft coverage the entire game. So that particular route was open the entire game. And when they needed to like get a first down or like a critical play, what did they do? They did like a curl route for the first down every single time. So he was right. He was right. I mean, I saw the play too. I'm like, dude, he's backing off. Why don't you go to CeeDee Lamb? He's wide open, bro.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, we got the win. Rams next, you know, the following week. You know, yeah. I'm down to give my predictions. I mean,
I'm down to as well. Unfortunately, the Rams did get Cooper Kupp back, and the last two games that Cooper Kupp has played, he's looked pretty damn good. He's looked unstoppable again, man. But I think our pass rushers will get there again, especially the Matthew Stafford, who's also prone to throw a bunch of interceptions or not able to get out of the pocket, or he's able to like fumble when he gets sacked. So I actually like that matchup. So I would go, coming off a bye, they should be fully prepared. I would go with like 34-24 Cowboys for that matchup. I mean,
oh, you're going a good high score game.
Yeah, because I think we're going to see Dakota Vick again, baby. Yes.
Well, you know, what gets me nervous about that game, right? You have Aaron Donald. So that's always going to get me nervous regardless, right? He's always he's always some type of X factor. You know, he's going to make his plays, right? You have to account for him. Now, what gets me nervous is Matt Stafford. Now, you're probably like, why, Mike? Because you got to think about Matt Stafford historically against the Cowboys. This man at one time was on a limp leg and drove down the field on us when he was a Detroit Lion and did a fake spike and still beat us. So, you know, this man had, you know, and he showed that. I think it was an Eagle game. I think it was an Eagle game where he got hurt too again with the Rams. And again, this man was limping downfield, still throwing dots. So my thing is, do not piss off Matt Stafford. Right. Matt Stafford turns into a different type of beast when he's like hurt or pissed off. So Cowboy Nation, do not piss that man off. Don't give him any bulletin board material. Okay, that's one.
Right.
I think we need to go in there. We have to shadow Kupp. You can't stop Kupp. We got no corner. Even Gilmore is not going to be able to stop that man one-on-one.
Right. I don't even want Gilmore on Cooper Kupp, because looking at this last game, Gilmore is giving up a lot of yards, man. He's behind on a lot of plays. Like, he can make a play, but he also gives up a lot of goddamn plays too.
We're going to have to like play, like, I don't want to say off coverage, but then, you know, I know somebody's going to tell us like, oh, well, Mike, you know, Cooper Kupp's not really a deep threat. You know, he likes to do those zig routes and like get separation. I get it. Listen, I'd rather Matt Stafford check it down to Kupp and we come up and tackle him than to have him have Cooper Kupp hit us with a double move and catch us down the seam for like a big 60, 70 yarder. Like, I don't want to see that. I'd rather you guys check it down. I think we have enough D line in front to stop Kerwin Williams, I think his name is.
I think he's hurt
we can
now.
stop the run.
I think he got hurt.
Yeah.
But
I got to double check.
not only does it have Cooper Kupp, but they also have the other rookie wide receiver.
Nakua, yeah.
Yeah, who was also doing pretty good when Coop was out.
Yeah.
So we got to worry about him too. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so I'd rather put our best corner on him than to put it on Kupp, because I feel like Kupp, you're just gonna have to bracket coverage him and that's it. But go to the predictions, because that's a lot of there's a lot of strategy going into that game. I don't think it's gonna be that high of a score, Rich. I'm gonna go with like 24. I'm gonna go like 24-17.
24-17 Cowboys.
24-17 Cowboys. I think we'll score. I think one of our touchdowns will be a turnover, like a scoop and score or like an INT. I don't think we score 21 points touchdowns. I think one of them is definitely like a scoop and score or some type of turnover touchdown, and then the other two will be like regular offensive touchdowns.
Okay, that sounds good to me as well. So I just think we're going to score high, because I think Dakota Vick is going to make another appearance, and he's going to escape Aaron Donald. So, I mean, bro, do not sit in the pocket and take those sacks, Dak Prescott.
You can't wait for that boy to run, huh? You can't wait to see Dak run.
I love seeing it. I really do, because, like, Dak Prescott is the type of quarterback that is, like, looking at a whole lot of green grass and will still sit back there and try to make a pass. Like, bro, run 3 yards, man. Get the first down. Like, bro, let's live to another down. Like, don't throw the ball, bro. Don't do it. I mean, he made some tight throws last week. I mean, against the Chargers last night. Michael Gallup was one, like, in the end zone that he kind of dropped. He threw it into, like, 3 people. But that was a very catchable ball to Michael Gallup. For some reason, Michael Gallup just was playing like a bum last night. I thought I brought it up. Like, he had 10 targets and only caught 3. Like, bro.
Yeah. You got your chances.
Bro, we just paid you. Like, you need to make these catches, man. Like, he probably like a bum. And he's number 2 on the depth chart? Brandon Cooks is number 3, right?
2. And Cooks listen, Cooks did his thing. He did what he had to do. And the reason why I didn't bring up Cooks too much this podcast is because he really didn't show up until almost the fourth quarter. Really, this game. I mean, he did what he needed to. But I feel like I'm gonna say it again. It's like last week. You have to incorporate Cooks a little more, and they did in the fourth quarter. Which, thank you, McCarthy. But you got to incorporate him a lot earlier.
And he ran the jet sweep.
Which I called last week. Yeah, exactly. I'm so happy.
He did run a jet sweep. So, man, what a good week. I'm glad we was able to get back on track, man, with another W. I'm glad it was against the Chargers. I mean, I'm just happy that we was able to leave California with a dub, because last week against the 49ers definitely was kind of rough. So I feel like we bounced back. I feel like we can take this into the bye week, build on some momentum, come out of the bye week, play the Rams, play the Eagles very closely, and hopefully sneak out a dub there. And then I think we have the Panthers, and then we have somebody else. So technically, our next 4 games are very winnable, and we can win the next 4. Like, bro, that'd be 100%. Amazing if we're able to do that.
Go Cowboy Nation. I'm good. I'm going to enjoy this win.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and get up out of here, man. We're wrapping up Silver and Blue Huddle episode number 5. 5 episodes in. Wow, we're being consistent, right?
Love it.
That's
Love
crazy.
It. Love it. It's going to be a long season. You're going to see our faces a lot.
Are we going to do a podcast next week on the bye week, or are we going to be on the bye week too? What do you think? Should we go over losers, our favorite losers? You
know what? We might.
What if the
have
Eagles
to come
lose next week? Are we going to have a podcast?
That's what I'm saying. We might have to interview one of the losers from our division this week.
I love it. So let's hope for the Eagles to lose. Let's hope for the 49ers to lose. They got some injuries. Debo, CMC, I heard he's going to maybe play through some pain, which I think is kind of crazy considering it's only week 6. Like, no way you want to jeopardize
I think there's
back, right?
There's plenty of content creators that we know that are fans of these teams, and I think we could definitely bring them on. And I think
I know one we can get for sure. He might be a little bit toxic, but
we might have to question them and ask like, what happened with your team this week?
Right.
So,
right. So that'll be the deal. If the Eagles lose next week, the 49ers lose next week, we're definitely here next week on the podcast. If not, we'll take a bye week. We'll rest up a little bit as well. And we'll come back once the Cowboys play the Rams and defeat the Rams. and then we'll talk about that very upcoming matchup with the freaking Eagles. I'm looking for that's in Dallas, right?
The Eagles game would be it would be our first game, right? So let me just see real
We
quick.
got to be at home because we just played 2 road games, so we got to be back at home for the Rams and the Eagles, right?
Yeah, so we got damn.
Or I'd rather play Philly.
No,
it's
at Eagles. No, it's at Eagles. Yeah, the first matchup versus the Eagles is at Lincoln Financial, and then so
that's cool.
It's Rams, Eagles, Giants, Panthers. Yeah,
cool. That's cool because somebody wants to go to Philly in December, bro. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So we have them at our place.
Well, good.
All right. Well, that's cool, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. We'll be back in we'll probably be here next week or the week after that. Silver and Blue Huddle, episode number 5. My man, So Amazing New Jersey. We will catch you guys on the flip side and go Cowboys. And we are back. Peace out, everybody.